Hey guys, we're going to be talking about some third down pressures on defense here today. We'll be looking at most of these clips from the butt shot. That's what the coaches call it, because we're looking at the rear view. Um, and I got a couple little, cute diagrams to go along with this. I think it makes it simpler for the average football fan and even experienced, experts like coordinators and stuff. There's a reason teams have a run game coordinator and pass game coordinator. It's really hard to look at the whole field at once. It's 11 guys all doing different things. So you kind of break it down section by section. That's a way I would recommend anyone to watch film if they're new to it, and even if they're experienced. Football's a complicated game, but it's not too complicated to where I truly believe anyone could get it if you spend enough time. There's a lot of patterns and rhythms. So they're showing a four-man front. This is a clip from the Chiefs a couple years ago. They're going to bring Sorensen, you see on the left side, wearing 49. He is not a normal linebacker. He is a defensive back. A lot of times they bring in defensive backs so they have someone who can spy the quarterback or match up on a tight end or match up on a running back. They're going to bring him on just a blitz on the A-gap on his side. It was kind of an uninspired play. We're going to look at a couple unsuccessful attempts here and then look at some more successful third down rushes. This is a different clip from the Saints. They're showing a five-man front. Again, 48 is not a normal linebacker. He's a defensive back. And a lot of times what they're trying to do on third down is they'll show confusing fronts or pressures or bring a lot of guys, but they're really not trying to get home with two or three guys. They really just are trying to buy time to get one matchup to go their way. So here the Saints have 94, Cameron Jordan. He's lined up on the center. They're doing this because he's their best rusher. He usually plays on the edge, and they want him to get him a one-on-one shot against that center, and they think he's going to beat him. Secondly, number 34 here, you can see he's not the biggest guy on the field for the Lions, compared to other professional athletes. And they want to make this guy stress in pass blocking. So they're showing 5 at the front. The Lions have 5 blockers. That means they bring number 48, which foreshadowing they will. He's going to come on the opposite side A-gap, so to the right side of 64 on the Lions. And they're banking that running back can't pick up where the 6 blitzer, the overload guy, is going to come from. Another spoiler alert, he actually does. The Lions picked this up very well. There wasn't a stunt on this. It helped that the Lions got the ball out quickly. But as a defensive coordinator, you don't always get home on these third down pressures. Sometimes you're trying to set up a pressure for another third down, but most of the times you're just trying to get your playmakers in the best spot possible to have a one-on-one matchup and to get home for a sack. And, the viewers at home, they won't even see you agonizing all week over what your third down call is going to be. They just see a guy getting a sack and doing a celebration dance afterwards. So I think this play's going to run here in a second. Yeah, Stafford's going to look around. They're going to get the ball out quickly. You're going to see 48 go to the right side of the A-gap. They're going to bring all 5 guys, so it's going to be a 6 rusher. And 34 does a great job here of standing his ground and getting his hips in place. Actually, the Saints did drop one, so they ended up bringing 4 plus the 5th linebacker rusher. And Golden Tate, sorry I cut it off. This happens all the time in football meeting rooms where you want to see what the rest of the play is, but they move on to something else. He actually does score there. Spoiler alert. So it was an unsuccessful attempt. You'll see they brought 5 plus a 6. They were banking on either their star rusher getting home against a center or their running back not being able to pick up the blitz against a blitzing linebacker, but they do and get the ball out quickly. We're going to look at one more attempt here that didn't get home for a sack or pressure. But it was really creative here from the Texans. So they're going to show a little bit more of a confusing look. This is still a nickel package from the Texans. A nickel package just means instead of having your normal 4 defensive backs, you have 5. It can get confusing if you're trying to look at how many guys are on the line of scrimmage or linebackers. General rule, 6 defensive backs dime, 5 defensive backs nickel, 4 defensive backs normal. So you got a couple guys standing up here. They're trying to make it confusing on the offensive line. They don't know who's coming. They don't know who's blitzing. And also, your running back right now is trying to figure out where he has to help from. You're going to see Jacoby Brissett point to the right. That's where the overload guy is. The Texans are going to bring a lot of guys here, and they're going to do what we like to call a stunt. You can see from number 90 on the edge here, Javion Clowney. He's going to plant his right foot in the ground, and he's going to circle back around as the big guy in the middle for the Texans is trying to swallow up these 3 offensive line defenders. He's trying to drag number 72 with him, but he does not. He's unsuccessful. The running back for the Colts does step up. This is great communication. You can see how difficult it is on the offensive line. When we looked at that front, I know I did. I was like, whoa, I don't know who's coming here. I don't know who's dropping. And they picked it up seamlessly. Now, Colts did get a guy open, and he missed him. So there's a little more going on here than on the other plays. And we do still have a hybrid backer blitzing, but we have a stunt going on. A stunt just means that two defensive linemen are going to wrap around each other or change attacking paths in some way, shape, or form so they can try to get home to the quarterback. But the Colts picked it up pretty nicely here. We got a little diagram going on for you. So here's a little more of a successful pressure from the Lions a couple years ago. Vikings have two tight ends. The Lions aren't going to bring any special numbers, but they're going to bring not a defensive back linebacker, but a true defensive back from the outside. Number 62 on the Vikings gets caught up with an inside defender, and he gets the holy grail of third down pressures, a free rush at the quarterback. And he kind of accomplished this by not being up on the line of scrimmage. A lot of times on third down, defensive coordinators will really like sending a guy late because the offensive line has kind of already made up their mind about who they're blocking, and they won't see an oncoming defender as easily. Plus, the offense sent a lot of guys in the pattern that time. So we're going to look at one more successful pressure here. Seahawks are back up. Bold decision. They go 5 wide in their own end zone. The Colts are going to show 4 guys down plus a linebacker. They're going to have 2 guys bail, and here we go again. As you'll see a common theme in the successful pressures, and that's bringing a secondary defender who's not in the box. The box is within those little hash marks, the little lines on the side of the field, and near the line of scrimmage. They're going to bring someone random who the Seahawks, none of the offensive linemen are looking at him right now. You get the defenders in their face, you back them up, and then you bring somebody else from a different direction. Sun Tzu, Art of War, attack them where they are weak and hide where they're strong. And they're going to get a free rusher here. He's going to do a great job of not running a 2 looping path. You see how 27 is going right off the hip of 93. And and if they didn't have Russell Wilson, that's a safety all day. So what do we learn here? It's hard to get pressure on third down. We saw 3 unsuccessful attempts, and the teams that did, they got really creative. They showed guys in your face. They make you really think about who you're going to block. And if you don't have numbers, they love sending a guy like the defensive back who's not in your line of sight on a blitz. And it's just a game of, can we cover for enough seconds before our guy gets home? And, that's what it is in the NFL. It's a cat and mouse game. You're trying to get matchups. Thanks for listening, by the way. I'll have more. Comment whatever you want to see.